We're going to look at exercise 5-1, which is in your chapter 5, and it relates to the data file that's on eConestoga called index. So first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to get rid of the additional rows that are on top of our data set. And then we're just going to look at what we have for data. So you can see that you've got your cities down the column B as well as across the top in row 1. And they match. So they go in the same order. So it goes Boston, Chicago, Dallas, Denver, LA, Miami, Phoenix, Seattle, regardless of if you go down column B or if you look across row 1. And that's important because we're going to be looking at this data set to determine what the distances are from each city to another city. And we're going to set up a model in order to do that calculation. The first thing that we're going to do now, or the next thing I guess, is we're going to name our table, our data set, our lookup table. And what we're going to do is we're going to name from C2 to J9. And we're being very careful here to not include the title in the data set. And we're going to call this distances. And then I'm going to set up just my my model where I'm going to put in my starting city and ending city. And what we're going to start with is we're going to go from Miami to LA. Now, you know how to use your match formula. So we can use our match formula to determine which row we need to be in. And we can look, actually we're going to go that way. So we're looking for an exact match here. It's not an approximate match. So we're going to use 0. And that's going to tell us that Miami is in the sixth row. So that's our row number. And then we want to determine our column number. And for that, we're going to go across the top. And sorry, we're going to start with what we're looking for. Our lookup value in this case is LA. And then our lookup array is going to be across the top. So we're looking for LA in the top row. And again, we want it to be an exact match. So this is telling us we need to go down 5 rows and over 5 columns to find the distance between Miami and LA. Now I can use my index formula to combine 2 of those. So the first thing that the index formula wants is our array, and that basically means where are we looking for this information. And in this case, we're looking in the data set, which we've named distances. And then we're going to look for our row number, which of course we have here already. And then our column number, which we also have identified. And then we'll just close our brackets. And that says that the distance from Miami to LA is 2,757. So if I look from Miami to LA, sure is 2,757. So if I want to do a couple more, I can go from Denver to Boston. I can go from Chicago to Seattle. Now, if I drag this down, it doesn't work because in my original formula, I haven't set my city names as absolute references. So I'm going to fix that. And then when I drag it down, it does work. So Denver to Boston, I go down to Denver, over to Boston, 1991, that matches. Chicago to Seattle, 2052, 52 miles, and that matches for that one. So the reason that we haven't named the titles, so the cities aren't included in our data array. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you what happens if I do the same thing, but now I include my distances array, if I call it distances 2, if I include the city name. So now, if I do the same thing, and let's just do the same thing here, but now instead of using the distances, I'm going to use distances 2, which includes my cities. So in this case, when you compare it, so Miami to LA, it's telling me it's 1174 because it's going row 6 to LA, which is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's where the 1174 comes from. And that's because now instead of counting where this is my first column, now it's counting this as my first column. So it skews things a little bit and gives us the wrong answer, because now where we're looking at 6 and 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, that's not right, because this is number 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is actually the distance from LA to Denver, not the distance from Miami to LA. So this you can delete, and make sure that you remember when you're naming your data that you don't include your labels, that you're only focused on the actual data. And that is all for that one.